There are probably rules on when to move up to a booster seat, aren't there?
Rear-facing, forward-facing? I think I have it right.
Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Don't think you know. Know you know. Go to safercar.gov/the-right seat.
I know my child's in the right car seat, or else I wouldn't get in the driver's seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
This is Nnamdi Asamoah. I play football for the Philadelphia Eagles, but what I do off the field with United Way might be more important. I'm a volunteer tutor and mentor. Why? Because over 1 million kids a year drop out of school, and that's not okay. It takes 12 years to create a graduate, but it takes about the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between a child becoming one or the other could be me, or it could be you. Studies show that if we get to these kids earlier, their chances are better, and kids who read well by 3rd grade are more likely to graduate. So join me in United Way. Suit up and take the pledge. Become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor, because when a child succeeds, we all succeed. Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Take the pledge at unitedway.org. Brought to you by United Way, the Ad Council, and the National Football League.
They'll challenge your authority. They'll try to break your will. They'll push you to the edge of your sanity. Because that's what kids do. But this car is your territory, not theirs. Defend it. Who makes the payments? Who cleans it? Who drives it? You do. That's who. And in here, your word is law. So when you say you won't move until everyone's buckled up, you won't budge an inch. Until you hear that click. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. For more information, visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup.
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn those earrings today. I like those earrings. Gabby has those awesome earrings. I need to ask her where she got those, but that's just what she would want me to do. I'll have Michaela ask her for me.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Yeah, but then Michaela will be like, why don't you just ask her yourself? That's just like Michaela.
Sarah, buckle up.
Michaela's such a great name. I wish I was called Michaela. There's like a dozen Sarahs in my class.
Hey, we're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I forget sometimes because my brain is like busy, you know? I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
Sometimes it can be tough to get through to your kids, but it's not impossible. Always make sure they're wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Remember, you have the keys, you have the power. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
Edward Lehman has been a trusted insurance advisor for over 16 years with insurance solutions for auto, home, commercial, life, and retirement. He's located at 54 Sunnyside Boulevard, Suite H in Plainview. That's just 1,000 feet south of 495. Local agent, local advice. The time to think about insurance is before you need it. So do yourself a favor, and before you pay your next insurance bill, give Ed and his team a call, 516-935-3900, or visit them online at www.allstate.com/EL. Edward H. Lehman Insurance is your trusted insurance advisor.
Do current market conditions have you nervous? Our experienced team of financial professionals at Heritage Harbor Financial Associates understands that no two investors are alike. We all have different goals, needs, and appetites for risk. That's why the one-size-fits-all approach does not work, especially when planning for retirement. At Heritage Harbor Financial Associates, we analyze your unique investment style so that you can work toward your individual retirement goals on your terms. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates can help you take steps to reach your retirement goals by providing a wide array of financial products to fit your needs, even for the risk adverse. Give us a call at 631-331-6599 to learn more or to set up an appointment with one of our financial professionals. You can also find us on the web at hhfa.org or on Facebook at facebook.com/hhfa.org. Our number again is 631-331-6599. That's 631-331-6599. Investments in stock, bonds, and mutual funds and variable annuities are not FDIC insured and are subject to fluctuation in value and market risk, including loss of principal. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates offers Securities Advisors LLC, New York, New York. Member FINRA, SIPC. Annuity and insurance products offered through AXA Network LLC.
Be fearless at MMA Long Island and Seituha Karate. Located at 28 Colt Court in Ronkonkoma, MMA Long Island is the martial arts school for you if you want to learn combat-proven techniques, build confidence, discipline, and self-esteem while learning real martial arts to fight back against bullies, predators, and peer pressure. MMA Long Island offers group and private lessons for all ages and levels in traditional Goju-Ryu Karate, MMA, and self-defense. MMA Long Island is one of Long Island's most affordable martial arts schools. There are no promotion, belt, or membership fees, and family discounts are available. All classes are taught by 7th degree black belt Sensei John Benedict with over 30 years teaching experience. So whether you want to get in the ring or protect yourself and your family, MMA Long Island can help you reach your goals. Visit MMALongIsland.com. That's MMALongIsland.com or call or text 516-381-9660. That's 516-381-9660.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Hi, I'd like to report a bear hug.
Uh-huh, okay.
Well, we were building a bonfire, and I saw some, dry brush and leaves around, so, I said to move the bonfire somewhere else, and out of nowhere, Smokey Bear shows up and hugs me.
So you noticed some wildfire hazards and moved your bonfire to a safer location.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Smokey, all right. He likes it when people help prevent wildfires. It hits him close to home. Not everybody gets the hug, my friend. So that's pretty special to get a hug from Smokey Bear.
So it was him. Hey, guys, I told you it was Smokey.
Okay, well, congratulations, my friend. And thanks for calling. There are many ways to prevent a wildfire. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. Waking up every day, lifting him from the bed to the wheelchair to the car to get him to therapy on time, it's no small task between the doctors and the diagnosis, but nothing can disable this love. This is my big brother, my hero. He's part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. See, there's no time for tired. This starts again tomorrow. He'll be waiting for me. I wake up for him. I know he needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community, or call 877-333-5885. Caregiving Resource Center. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Great moments are born from great opportunity. And that's what you have here. That's what you've earned here tonight.
Forget about the crowd. It's the size of the school. Their fancy uniforms. And remember what got you here. If you put your effort and concentration into playing to your potential, to be the best that you can be, I don't care what the scoreboard says, at the end of the game, in my book, we're going to be winners.
On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch. We claw with our fingernails for that inch because we know when we add up all those inches, that's gonna make the difference between winning and losing.
It's down to the wire with Errol Marks and Speedy Petey.
Petey.
On the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Down to the Wire. I'm your host, Errol Marks. My co-host, Mr. Speedy Petey. Remember, you can call us at 631-965-4990. And remember, you can go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to find us or you want to search us, go to our app. How do you do that, ladies and gentlemen? Well, it's very, very simple. All you have to do is download our app. You go to iOS, Apple, and you can do this. Put iOS in, search WWSRN, and if you have Android, Worldwide Sports Radio Network on the Android. Speedy, how was your weekend? Happy 4th of July to all the fans out there.
Happy 4th of July, everybody, to all the fans out there. My weekend was very, very fun. We had a nice 4th of July party at my cousin's house. My aunt came over. We played with these very big dodgeballs, which was very interesting.
You like balls, don't you?
those big ones that look.
You like big ones, don't you?
I know where you're going with that. But
no, I'm just asking you. You like big dodgeballs?
Yes, I do. Well, they're hard to
You
throw,
like to dodge the big balls?
Sure, we'll go with that. But it was a lot of fun. We had a bonfire and a lot of food. Really, I literally stuffed myself.
Well, I'll tell you guys this. I am a huge fan of 4th of July. What I don't like about 4th of July is people getting drunk and acting like complete asses. And over the weekend, not only the parties that I was at, but all the different things that we were seeing outside, the fireworks, people blowing their hands off or whatever the heck they were doing over here in Long Island. It's just complete trouble when it comes to fireworks. But you like the big bangs, you like the storytelling, and you like the craziness of Long Island and 4th of July. So we have to have something. We have to do something with all the stuff that's going on in the world with COVID-19. So it's a good thing that we at least had the opportunity to have fun with our friends and our family, even wearing masks. Mm-hmm. So,
right.
Which I didn't do, by the way. So I want to let all the fans know I did not wear a mask at the parties that I went to.
Now, are you surprised that there's so much slander against fireworks on social media like you saw? I don't know if you were seeing that. Everyone was hating on them for whatever reason.
Well, everybody hates fireworks because they're dangerous. And you're talking about TNT. You're talking about an opportunity that you can blow things up. So obviously having fireworks could get yourself into trouble. So obviously, it didn't get me into trouble because I don't like lighting them. I just like watching these sparkly things in the air or these bombs, these mortars, these blockbusters or whatever, and people blowing things up. So I love that. Mm-hmm. I enjoy it.
I do too.
Anyways, we have a lot of sports to talk about today. We are going to be talking to, at 6:30, Brewers pitching prospect Braden Webb, who's going to be joining us. I want to give a shout out to Off the Mat for over the weekend at 12 o'clock. Great show by Josh and Alex. The Sports Hit List, which plays every single Wednesday. Shout out to Carl and his team. The Big Guy Sports Show, who just started before us. Jim and his team, and the Wise Guys. Clarence and Trey, great show, Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays on our network after our show. So shout out to them. We really appreciate everything that they're doing. We have a lot of new shows that are going to be coming to our network very, very soon. But before we get into any of the subjects that we're going to get into, and we're going to talk to Braden in Braden in a few minutes, I do want to get into this story. There was a story that just came out that we have our first $400 million player in NFL history.
What?
Yes, sir. And you know who that is?
Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes gets a $400 million contract from the Kansas City Chiefs, which will give him a guarantee, even if he gets hurt, $140 million.
How many years is that over? That's crazy. I would have never imagined a $400 million contract in the NFL. I would have thought it would happen in the NBA first more than it would the NFL. Baseball were already right there. but
10-year contract.
10 year. Wow. 10 years contracts are unheard of.
10-year contract, $450 million.
Wow, that's insane. It's a stretch in football to give a 6 or 7 year contract.
The injury guarantee in the contract is $140 million. He's going to be averaging about $45 million a year for the next 10 years.
That is nuts.
And here's the thing. Does every single football player deserve whatever contract they get offered? Absolutely. You get whatever they're giving you. And Patrick Mahomes, who's been one of the best quarterbacks in the last 2 years, he was the MVP his first year, his first full season, and then he won a Super Bowl the next year. Mm-hmm. And really what we have seen with Patrick Mahomes is a development of a superstar, a guy that is the next big thing in the NFL. You see what he is. You're talking about Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees and Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. All these guys are retiring now. And yet Ben Roethlisberger was coming back from a bad shoulder injury. These are all guys. Phillip Rivers, these are all the past top quarterbacks. Now you're looking for the future, the Sam Darnolds, the Josh Allens, the Patrick Mahomes, the Watsons, the Russell Wilsons of the world. These guys are the next big prospects, the next big superstars as the quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah, it's still insane, though, the fact that they got a 10-year deal, $45 million a year approximately, meaning again, it's probably not evenly split 45. There's going to be some years where Patrick Mahomes could make up a quarter or a third of their entire salary cap.
And here's the thing. Patrick Mahomes is their whole team. Offensively, he runs the whole offense. Everything that they do inside and out runs through him. They drafted a running back. They needed a running back. They got one. They still have Williams, who played very, very well in the Super Bowl, who should have been, to me, and we've said this over and over again,
on this, yeah.
He should have been the MVP of the Super Bowl. Absolutely should have been. But usually they give it to quarterbacks, and that's what they did. But when you look at Patrick Mahomes, he deserves every penny that he's getting. He really does. What hurts the NFL now is now you're looking at Patrick Mahomes. He's the lead guy. Now you're going to try to break that contract. Now you're going to talk about like guys like Josh Allen or Sam Darnold when they become free agents in 3 or 4 years, possibly could get $45, $50 million, which can control practically a quarter of their salary cap.
And even if they're not far behind Mahomes, even if they're an elite quarterback and they're not far behind Mahomes, they're going to be asking for something like that too. This is a big jump from the largest, which was 34 or 35 at the time, which I think was Aaron Rodgers or Matt Ryan. I don't remember which one, but that's a $10 million jump, which you're going to see a lot of young quarterbacks, if they are at that elite level, not Mahomes level, but at that elite level, they're going to be asking for 41 or 42.
Just think about this. If this guy, Patrick Mahomes, never plays another day of football, he's going to make $140 million. $140 million. You're talking about Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest quarterbacks that we have ever seen, got a $139 million contract, which was not guaranteed. Mm-hmm. Which was not guaranteed. I think it was only $50 million or $60 million that was guaranteed.
Right.
This is guaranteed money. $140 million guaranteed, no matter injured or playing, to Patrick Mahomes.
And I think the top contract of anything didn't even top $140 million at all. Think about it. I think, again, even with the quarterback contracts and the pass rusher contracts that Aaron Donald and Khalil Mack got, I don't think anything touched $140 million, and he's getting that guaranteed.
So when you look at the contract and you look at everything that we've seen so far with Patrick Mahomes, you can only say that this kid absolutely deserves every single thing that he is going to get coming and moving forward.
Yeah, it's just insane that it all of a sudden went to a 10-year jump like that, though. Those contracts are even high for baseball. Like, you barely see them. You see them now with some players, but you rarely see them now in baseball. Now it's a big jump to football, which a 7-year contract is a big stretch for any team to give.
We have a first caller of the day. Who are we speaking to? Welcome to Down to the Wire. Hello? This is the automated system. And that wasn't our call, so... Shout out to the automated system. You know what it is I am actually, and by the way, we are not in the studio, the other studio that we do our show in. Our computer actually took a crap on us, so it's right now getting fixed. So we're right now in the Ron Konkama studio. So shout out to Mike Catino and New York Sports Scene for letting us do the shows here. I know the Morning Boys do their show every single other day on our network over here at the studios, and now we're doing it at the studios around Konkama. But this contract is astonishing. It really is. And you look at a guy like Patrick Mahomes, he's only played 2 full seasons. 2. And you look at what he has done, it's remarkable what he's done. Mm-hmm. But how about Lamar Jackson? Why isn't Lamar Jackson getting a $450, $500 million contract? His career as an NFL player has been absolutely remarkable, too. Now, he hasn't won a Super Bowl yet. He's going to have a chance this year with that talented team. Now, if he wins a Super Bowl this year with Baltimore, is he going to get $500 million? Is he going to get $160, $170 million guaranteed if he gets hurt?
Even if he doesn't, they're giving him a range where you could say, all right, you could make the jump to $40 million now, which was unheard of. Everyone was making fun of all these quarterbacks that are asking for $40 million and not thinking they would realistically get it. Now, Lamar Jackson, if he does have that kind of year and wins a Super Bowl, or even if just has another great year like he did last year, he's going to be asking for something in that ballpark.
It's an incredible contract, and I know we look at baseball and you look at guys like Giancarlo Stanton, you look at guys like Mookie Betts, who's going to expect a $350, $400 million contract. The Mike Trouts, who got a $400 and some odd million contract. You're talking about this is the biggest contract in NFL history. This is the biggest contract in sports history, in any professional sport. If he gets $450 million in the next 10 years, he will have the biggest contract in professional sports history. I'm talking about the NHL, NBA, NFL, and MLB.
Right.
And you're talking about big contracts in the MLB.
Right. And again, you're years-wise, too. The NFL finally make the jump to the 10-year thing. MLB, you saw some 10-year contracts. You saw some 8-year contracts. That was kind of a norm for them. But again, with all the injuries that there are in football, you never would have thought anyone would have gotten that kind of contract ever. I mean, Mahomes, he had one injury which caused him to miss 2 weeks. Beyond that, he's not really an injury-prone player. But still, a risk is a risk in football with that kind of contact sport.
Again, when you look at a contract of this magnitude, you only shake your head, but this kid deserves it. You're talking about a guy that took a team to a Super Bowl and practically came back from the Super Bowl. This guy was down by, what was it?
It was 20-10 with less than 8 minutes to go.
20-10. So it was 10 points with less than 8 minutes. He came all the way back and won a Super Bowl from the Kansas City Chiefs that haven't won a Super Bowl since 1970. So you're talking about a kid that absolutely deserves every single penny that he's going to get. I think Patrick Mahomes is the future of the NFL when you talk about quarterbacks and what he has done, transitioning the pocket quarterback to the mobile quarterback. And you talk about, and you could say whatever you want about Patrick Mahomes. He is a mobile quarterback. Now, is he a distinct mobile quarterback like a Russell Wilson or a Lamar Jackson? No, he's not. He's a guy that you can move inside and out of the pocket, can run left, can run right, can throw with his left, can throw with his right. We saw him do that. And he's been the best quarterback in the NFL for the last 2 seasons.
And he can throw every spot on the field in and out of the pocket, even if he stops, even if he's on the run. We've even seen him throw lefty at times. It's crazy.
So my argument here is, and I know a lot of people are going to say that, what type of athlete deserves $450 million? And the answer is anybody that can get that contract. Because if I was Patrick Mahomes and somebody is offering me $450 million, I'm not going to just say, you know what, just give me $300 million. I'll be okay with that. I'm getting $150 million more, and I'm getting $140 million guaranteed. And the kid is only 23 years old, 24 years old. He's still a kid. 10 years from now, he'll only be 34 years old. And best believe that he's going to want a bigger contract. Trust me, in 5 years, he can opt out of the contract, or 6 years, he can opt out of the contract and get even a bigger contract if he shows everybody that he's as good a quarterback as he's been in the last 2 seasons.
Between inflation and between the NFL salary cap progressively going up each year, we'll see what this year with the COVID and the maybe not having fans, but with progressively going up, that could be even more insane too, whatever he gets next if he does opt out or does restructure or something like that.
I don't think he's going to restructure anything. He's going to get that guaranteed money.
I don't think so either.
But I think that if the salaries go up in the NFL and they change the CBA and everything goes up, you best believe with all the contracts and all the TV deals that the NFL gets, that Patrick Mahomes will get even a bigger contract 5-6 years down the road. So this is a big contract, very well deserved. I don't care what anybody says, who deserves $450 million. It's very well deserved. This guy deserves every penny that he is going to get. Any football player is worth that kind of money because you don't know how long they have. And I'll tell you this, $140 million is guaranteed money. I can retire right now and say I'm a multi-millionaire forever.
Right.
So This is a big contract. All the football fans out there that are probably arguing the point or saying, well, how could this guy get $450 million, $45 million guaranteed? What kind of player deserves that, especially when there's going to be no fans in the audience probably all season long? How the owner of Kansas City, who's a multi-billionaire, is going to pay this kid $45 million a year is crazy when they're going to have no fans, nothing out there, no beer selling, no nothing.
Right. He better be watching for his position at this rate. Mahomes,
I think it's a she.
No, it's Clark Hunt. It's
Clark Hunt?
It's Lamar Hunt's son.
Okay.
Yeah, but at this rate, Mahomes at this rate, if he invests that well or something like that, he might even buy the team. Who knows at this rate?
Again, when you look at the team and you look at Kansas City, they can win for many, many years to come. This isn't the first Super Bowl they're going to win. They're going to win a lot of them. This is a quarterback that is very unique, can make every single throw, and probably has the strongest arm in the NFL right now. This guy could throw 65 yards on his knees.
The guy threw out of a stadium for once.
So it's unbelievable how good of an arm that this kid has. Now, the question is he going to stay healthy? Is his arm going to stay healthy? Is his legs going to stay healthy? And we've seen him injured not once but twice in the last 2 years. So getting that $140 million contract is perfect for somebody like Patrick Mahomes, because no matter what happens moving forward, he's going to have guaranteed money put on his table. So it's very unique. The only thing that hurts the NFL and hurts a lot of teams is everybody's going to try to beat this contract. Everybody's going to try to compete with this contract. And if Lamar Jackson somehow wins the Super Bowl this year with that Baltimore Ravens team, you best believe he's going to be asking $450, $500 million contracts, because he's going to do the same thing Patrick Mahomes did. Win the MVP, practically his first season, and then win a Super Bowl.
Right, and remember, Lamar Jackson also turned the Ravens around and took them to the playoffs when they were an average team. I think they were 5-5 or something in the middle of the season, and he won all but one game. He had a great stretch at the end of the season and then made them to the playoffs. He struggled in the playoff game, obviously, but he's had a great track record so far, and if that's the path he's going on, that's going to be definitely something they do. The question is, will the Ravens do it, being a very stingy franchise, though, too? But again, that's the new wave. Maybe that's the new wave to do it, and firing everything else homegrown, and the Ravens have been great at doing that, too.
Also, you heard stories that this was going to happen. I mean, in the offseason, I was talking about it. When are they going to give this kid that extension, even though he's only been in the league full seasons 2 years? So they didn't have to extend him and give him this big-time contract. They could have waited 2 years and waited to his, almost wait till his
next year.
Yeah, his contract was up, his rookie contract was up, and then give him the $450, $500. But here's the thing. They gave him the $450 million contract now because they don't know in 2-3 years with the TV deals how much more money some of these quarterbacks are going to be making. So Patrick Mahomes, they could have gotten on a deal, because some of these quarterbacks could be making $650 million. It's crazy. It's absolutely
that would
crazy.
Be some crazy jump if that happens, if this wasn't already.
But and Trey's saying it right now on the feed right now. Aaron Rodgers got a $139 million contract, 3 years ago? And this is the best quarterback in the NFL. He's been the best quarterback in the NFL for the last 7-8 years. And Aaron Rodgers didn't even see a sniff of a contract like this. And that's saying a lot, because they expect big things from Patrick Mahomes. Every single player deserves the contract that they're going to get offered, because you don't know when your last day is going to be. Your last game is going to be with the game the way it is, how rough the game is, and how obliviated you can get, especially the beatings that you get on the field, especially the quarterback, even though the quarterback is the position now that you can hit him on the toe and you're going to call a penalty. So it's incredible. It is an incredible contract, well-deserved by Patrick Mahomes. This is a guy that won an MVP and won a Super Bowl in back-to-back seasons. So it's an incredible feat. Now people are going to try to catch up to Patrick Mahomes, but Patrick Mahomes is the superstar. He is the face of the NFL moving forward now. And what we've seen with the Kansas City Chiefs and what they could do in the future with all the talent that they have still, it could be a very successful time for Andy Reid and the crew. So
definitely
looking forward to seeing what's up moving forward. Chris Jones is not getting signed now.
Oh, no, definitely not.
No,
he's going somewhere else, and he's going to cash in somewhere else. But, yeah, there's no room for him
There's
now.
no way Chris Jones is getting that contract. He expects $20 million a year. This guy was a big part of their defense in the playoffs last year, especially injured the way he was, all the way to the Super Bowl. He caused a lot of ruckus at the line of scrimmage.
Especially in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl, too. He was huge.
And he expects $20 million next year when they just franchised him. He's expecting
expecting, and he's not going to get it from the Chiefs. So there'll be a lot of teams looking for a big-time pass rusher, and Chris Jones will be one of the best ones available next year in free agency.
No doubt about that.
When we come back, we're going to be talking to Brewers pitching prospect Braden Webb here on Down to the Wire.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Edward Lehman has been a trusted insurance advisor for over 16 years with insurance solutions for auto, home, commercial, life, and retirement. He's located at 54 Sunnyside Boulevard, Suite H in Plainview. That's just 1,000 feet south of 495. Local agent, local advice. The time to think about insurance is before you need it. So do yourself a favor, and before you pay your next insurance bill, give Ed and his team a call, 516-935-3900, or visit him online at www.allstate.com/EL. Edward H. Lehman Insurance is your trusted insurance advisor.
Of course my kid's in the right car seat. Well, I think he is.
Yeah, my kid's in a booster seat. He was ready to move up. He is ready, right?
Her car seat looks like the right size.
There are probably rules on when to move up to a booster seat, aren't there?
Rear facing, forward facing. I think I have it right.
Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Don't think you know. Know you know. Go to safercar.gov/the-right seat.
I know my child's in the right car seat, or else I wouldn't get in the driver's seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. You're listening to Down to the Wire on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Six 631-965-4990 is the number. As you know, this is Down to the Wire. We are live every single Monday and Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. New York Eastern Time, as you guys know. And remember, you can reach us by going to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. We have one guest today. One guest, and we have Mark. We don't call him a guest because he's part of our network. But we have one great guest, and I'm looking forward to interviewing this kid. We are now talking to Brewers pitching prospect, Braden Webb. What's going on, Braden?
What's up?
How are you, my friend?
I'm great. How you doing?
I'm good. So tell us a little bit about your situation with the pandemic. How are you and your family doing?
Me and my family are good. I'm just back home training in Oklahoma. Just, kind of waiting around to see if I end up making the taxi squad for the Brewers. Just trying to stay on top of my game.
Have you been dancing?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah? What kind of music do you like to dance to?
Yeah, it don't matter. If it's got a beat, I can move my feet.
Look at you. If you have a beat, you can move my feet. Now, you can rhyme, too. Could you rap? Could you rap? What?
Repeat that, please?
Do you know how to rap?
Do I know how to rap? Yeah, I do actually.
Oh man, we're gonna have to use that before we get you off the phone. You're gonna have to give me one of your freestyle raps, okay?
Oh, that's putting me on the spot, man.
Well, you know, I like to do that. So there you go. So tell us a little bit about your college career and when you got drafted by the Brewers.
I mean, I attended the University of South Carolina. Went there for 1 year. I was a draft-eligible true freshman. I think it was like the first time in NCAA history that someone came into a four-year school and got to stay for only 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, I had the year that I had at South Carolina, and then I ended up getting to be blessed enough to get drafted in the third round by the Brewers.
Braden, are you on speakerphone?
Yes, sir, I am.
Could you come off the speakerphone because it's a little bit hard for the fans to hear you?
Oh, yeah. I got you.
There you go. You sound much better now, man.
I apologize.
No, you don't have to apologize, man. As you guys know, we are talking to Brewers pitching prospect Braden Webb.
In terms of your experience at South Carolina, what were some of your favorite things about playing for there? A powerhouse SEC program for baseball, for sure. One of their bigger sports there. And again, in probably arguably the strongest conference there. What were some of your experiences like with your teammates and just that whole college baseball life?
College baseball is some of the most fun I've had ever playing the game. You know, you get to come in with guys who are just all trying to compete for the same goal, and that's to make it to Omaha. Although my team wasn't lucky enough to make it to Omaha, we made it to a super regional. And, you know, so, I mean, you go through the grind of the road to Omaha, and you got all the off-season workouts, all the early mornings, all the two-a-days. And then you guys just bond, and you continue to grow, and it's not like you're competing for someone else's job. You're competing to earn a spot to play in that lineup every weekend, and then compete against some of the best, arguably the best conference in baseball.
When you talk about the Brewers organization, and this is a team that has been up for a World Series the last couple of years, they really have dominated offensively and defensively, and really one of the best bullpens in baseball. Mm-hmm. When you look at yourself, do you see yourself as a starting pitcher for the Brewers organization or a relief pitcher?
I mean, right now I'm a starter. However, I'll play whatever role the Brewers would have me to play, or, you know, just whatever they think is best to help win games. And if I do end up getting called up and they decide to switch me to the bullpen, you know, I'll adapt. And if they decide to keep me as a starter, then I'll continue to try to be the best version of myself that I can be.
One of the latest trends in baseball, and the Brewers are one of the big teams to use this, is the opener. We see that a lot with, again, starters that pitch 3 innings, then they'll rotate around different parts of the game. Do you think you would be in that kind of role, and maybe minor league baseball could embrace that kind of thing too? And also, do you think that changes a pitcher's mentality as a whole if they have to go into different spots?
You know, I mean, I've never really been just considered an opener. I've either started or I've closed. And so that's something that I would have to, like I said, adapt to. And, you know, if an opener is what is being considered, then I'd gladly take that role and then, you know, come back on shorter rest if I have to. But I think they wouldn't do it in the minor leagues just because you gotta let guys develop, and you gotta let them grow and learn how to utilize their bodies every 5 days, because it's different than college baseball or high school baseball.
As you guys know, we are talking to Brewers pitching prospect Braden Webb. Now, Braden, as a player, and your dream was to get drafted to the MLB and be a star pitcher for one of these big organizations. When you look at your career so far as a young player and moving forward, is there a particular pitcher that really stands out that you wanted to be like, or you want to be like, for your future as an MLB player?
I mean, I've always strived to just, like I said, be the best version of myself. However, I do enjoy watching guys like Matt Scherzer, Max Scherzer and Clayton Kershaw and Garrett Cole pitch. Like those guys just attack the zone, and you know, I strive to attack the zone from the top to bottom and not just side to side, and utilize my pitches the best way that I possibly can.
I'm surprised this question has been asked because Errol likes to ask about a lot of the new rules of baseball. One of the things that's being debated on for MLB is the pitch clock for starting pitchers and for relievers, and it's been used a lot in the minor leagues. Is that something that you are, one, in favor of, and two, have you been encountering that in your minor league career so far?
Yeah, I experienced it in AA. I think that it speeds the game up, honestly, and I think that people could tend to struggle with it because there's a lot of guys who like to work very slow. But I thoroughly enjoyed, just getting the ball and going, and like getting the sign and going. Because it's just like you get into a really good rhythm with your catcher, and you guys are on the same page. It really helps.
As you know, I am a diehard Yankee fan. And I sit here, and even analytically, an analyst, as a broadcaster, I won't sit here and talk about the Yankees like a lot of people think that I'm a homer, and I talk a lot of crap about my teams as well. Growing up, was there a particular team you rooted for? And if so, do you ever want to play for that organization if you have the opportunity to do so?
Growing up, I actually grew up a Dodgers fan. My dad was a diehard Dodgers fan, and he taught me the game of baseball from a very young age. And so we grew up watching a lot of Dodgers games, and every time they would come play the Cardinals, we would go to St. Louis and watch them play the Cardinals, because my mom is actually a Cardinals fan, because my great-grandpa on my mom's side of the family, he's still alive, and he was a Cardinals fan. And so we would always just go watch the Dodgers and Cardinals play. So, I mean, I am happy where I'm at, and you got to grow where your feet are planted.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as the Brewers want me, I'll be Brewer till the end.
Show me the money. Show me the money.
Show me the money.
Show me the money, baby. I mean, if you've never seen Jerry Maguire, show me the money.
Oh, for sure. I've seen Jerry Maguire a million times.
I love him already.
He can rap and loves Jerry Maguire. Yes, you love him already.
We're best buddies now, man. We'll be texting buddies now, my friend.
Hey, I'm down.
So, in terms of the Brewers organization, both with the minor leagues and with your team right now, the active roster, a lot of great players on it. Is there a player that you're most looking forward to playing with and learning from?
Actually, there's I've been lucky enough to rehab. I was hurt all last season, and I got to rehab with Brent Suter, Suter and Corey Knievel. And whenever I showed up to rehab, they kind of took me under their wing, and I got to learn a lot from those guys. And we had a lot of good conversations about different things. And they're both two totally polar opposite kind of people. Like, Corey loves playing video games, and we played video games every night. And then Suter is a very high energy guy, and I'm also a high energy guy. And so he would take me, and we would go work on visualization drills without even throwing a baseball on the mound, like just visualizing where you're going to throw your pitch, go through your entire motion like it's game speed, and see yourself over and over again throwing that pitch to that spot, and working on that kind of thing. And so, I mean, I got to rehab with Ryan Braun in my first year. He came down and rehabbed with the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, and he and I had a long conversation while we were shagging balls in the outfield about just what hitters like and what hitters don't like. And he gave me a lot of positive things to think about, and so I've never ran into one of our big leaguers acting like they were too good to talk and discuss things with any of our minor leaguers. They're a very small organization, but they're also very close knit, and they talk about like a chain link, staying connected. And I mean, Craig comes down and he'll talk to the minor leaguers and tell us the same thing every year, about staying connected. And so I feel like our entire organization, from top to bottom, acts that way, and we all are pulling for one another. And it's just been a really great experience over the last 3 years. I couldn't be more blessed, honestly.
As you guys know, we are talking to Brewers pitching prospect Braden Webb. Now, Braden, when you look at the MLB and you look at Tommy John surgery, and it's been a catalyst of really putting a lot of pitchers out. You're talking about guys besides Max Scherzer, who you mentioned, he's never gotten it, and I'm very surprised. And he spoke very highly of what people need to do, the training that they need to do for their arm at a younger age, where it doesn't cause them an opportunity to maybe hurt their UCL or get Tommy John surgery. When you look at all the pitchers, you're talking about here in New York, Noah Syndergaard and Savarino now, and all the top pitchers we've seen go down and then come back either stronger or even worse. When you look at that, do you think the younger children, the younger kids that are playing professional, minor league baseball or little league or all that other stuff, do you think the parents should take a step back and not make the kids throw the ball or throw curveballs at such a young age, and maybe give them a little bit more time to develop their arm and their strength in their teenage?
You only have so many bullets in the arm. I think that a lot of parents, overpitch their kids growing up, trying to get them seen and get them ready for college scouts and pro scouts at a very young age. And my dad was always my baseball coach, and he was never really that way. The only time that he ever left me out there for longer than I needed to be was because I walked the bases loaded, and he told me to get out of the situation myself. And so, just little life lessons within the game. But I think that parents pay too much money for little 8-year-olds and 10-year-olds and even 12-year-olds to learn how to pitch early on, and it's just something that comes naturally later on in life, and that's when you start hitting it. It's your 6th, 7th, 8th grade year, you start growing up, you start maturing more. But yeah, no, I definitely feel like there's definitely things that you can do to help preventative maintenance, I would say, to better off your chances of not receiving it, because you never know when it's going to go. Sometimes it just goes without you even knowing. And I actually was wrestling around with my cousin when I was 12, and I hit the coffee table and broke my arm in 3 different places, and my Tommy John ligament pulled loose from my elbow, and it shriveled up and died on the inside. And so from the time I was 12 until I was 19, I pitched my entire middle school to high school career without a UCL in my elbow and stress fractures in my arm. And so my senior year, right before the draft, I blew out my elbow, and then they went in and they were like, hey, you fractured all the way through what's called the olecranon. You're going to need 2 screws in it. Oh, and on top of it, you don't have a Tommy John ligament.
Well, I guess that's a good thing, right?
Yeah. Well, they actually told me that there was a chance that I might not ever throw a baseball again.
Well, that's not good.
So I think that, speaking on the fact that guys come back worse, I think you get out of it what you put into it. And if you go into it with oh no, pitiful me attitude, then there's a good chance that you're probably not going to make it out of there alive and playing again very well. And if you go into it with a positive mindset and you're like, okay, here we go, it's time to grind, let's get back to where we were and get back to being better than what we were, then you're going to have success. And that's I was lucky enough to come across a guy named Jamie Evans in high school, and he moved me out to Maryland to live with him and train with him during that entire year that I was down for Tommy John before I went to South Carolina.
In terms of your favorite pitch and your best pitch, what is it for you?
Well, they're one and the same for me, I would say. I didn't really know how to throw a changeup very well until because growing up, my curveball was my best pitch, and even in college, my curveball was my best pitch, and so I had to really figure out a changeup when I got to high A in 2018 because my curveball wasn't great for some reason, and then so you had to have an equalizer pitch, and I was going through lineups with just fastball, changeup, and some curveballs. So I would say my changeup has really developed and become my best pitch over the course of the last few years. And so I would say that those are one and the same for me.
As you guys know, we are talking to Brewers pitching prospect Braden Webb. Now, Braden, the MLB is completely different than college. I mean, you use metal bats in college. Now you're using wooden bats, and maybe the juiced balls will help some of the hitters hit the ball over the fence. When you look at some of the new rules that the MLB is trying to implement into the game, one of them being electronic umpires, do you like that, or do you completely dislike it because of all the old games that you've seen over the years, the managers arguing, and even the pitchers arguing with the umpire? It's a part of the game. Do you like this rule, or do you dislike the rule?
I mean, when in the history of baseball has there ever been an electronic strike zone? I mean, it's America's pastime. It's a game that, it adapts and it moves forward. However, it's the same old game. You go out there, you throw the ball, you hit the ball, you field the ball, you run, you try to score, you try to get people out. That's not ever going to change. I think an electronic strike zone would make people realize that a lot of the times they're going to be wrong, pitchers and hitters. And then there's less room for error, but I'd always stick with just an umpire. Even if I'm having a bad day, I'd rather have an umpire.
I agree with you, by the way. I agree with everything you've said so far because we're buddies now. We're going to be texting each other. We're going to be hanging out. I don't know where you live, but I live here in New York. So whenever you want to come out to New York and get to see the bright lights of the city, or maybe even bring you down to the wineries in Long Island, you will have a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun.
You're going to have a group chat with him, Blaine, and you?
Well, we've been talking to a lot of prospects. We talked about last week. We talked to two up-and-coming prospects for the New York Yankees, Blaine Abeda, and
Ocean Gabonia.
Ocean Gabonia, who just signed with the Yankees, has 5 pitches. And we had a great time, not even talking about baseball, really just talking about their lives and where they plan to be, in the MLB, or do they plan themselves to be starters or relief pitchers. So my question to you is, when you look at the game as a whole, and you look at some of the past-time great players and pitchers that you try to compare and contrast to some of the pitchers now, and the transition of the game, the power arm, do you see the game transitioning again, knowing that the power arm has completely dominated the sport for the last 7-8 years, and now you're seeing some of the... Remember, in the 90s, it was Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine. They were all precise pitchers that found corners and liked to pitch and use the corners and use the plate. Do you see pitching to be transitioned into that style again, or do you think it's going to be all power?
I think it's going to be a combination of both, honestly, because they say that big league hitters can time a 747,
Mm-hmm.
If they can catch it. I mean, you got to think Aroldis Chapman, 105 miles an hour. He gives up nukes all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about one of your Yankee boys.
About Yankee boys. I mean, he wasn't a Yankee in the beginning. He was a Cincinnati Red.
Well, I mean, he played for the Yankees.
Yes.
He throws heat, and it leaves the yard all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hard. I mean, 105 is absolute cheddar, and so if a hitter can catch up to that and hit it out, the game's going to have to adapt to hitting spots and locating. And if you have guys, 95 is the new average for guys. It's incredible to see guys just run out there every night and throw 95 plus.
So what we're gonna do, Braden, this is what we're gonna do. We're going to blindfold my producer, Speedy, And what you're going to do is you're going to tell him to run all over the baseball field, and you're going to stand at the pitching mound, and you're going to try to peg him as many times as you can with the baseball. What do you think about that?
I'm in.
I'm sure you are.
Prize for the winner.
You know what's funny? I'm sorry?
I said, who's buying dinner?
Well, I'll buy the dinner. If you hit him, I'll buy you the dinner. Anything you want, steak, pizza. You never had pizza until you come to New York.
I've been to New York, actually. I stayed in the W Hotel.
Oh, okay.
I went to the last series in the old Yankee Stadium when I was in like the 7th grade.
Oh, look at that. They won it in 2009.
30 dirty water dogs.
Oh, so you're a hot dog guy, huh?
I mean, if you're in New York, there's one on every street corner, so.
You're absolutely right. I hate hot dogs. Braden, I hate hot dogs.
Really?
But
I feel like if I lived there too, I would hate hot dogs. Like I said, I ate 30 in the span of 3 days.
Oh my God. Well, why don't you go into one of those competitions, ESPN, man?
No, ain't nobody beating Joey Chestnut in a hot dog eating contest.
Oh my God, man, that guy can eat a hot dog. Oh.
75 in his last competition.
It's crazy. It really is. As you guys know, we're talking to Brewers pitching prospect Braden Webb. He's given us some good insight on his hot dog eating habits. Braden, when you look at the league as a whole and you're looking at all these superstars like Mike Trout and Aaron Judge and the faces of baseball and really the transition of some of these contracts and what these guys are making, do you see the league with the CBA rules and the TV deals that they're going to get, a lot of these teams and these organizations are getting, do you see the league transitioning to higher rates, higher deals? Because I look at Garrett Cole, who got $326 million from the Yankees. I don't see another starting pitcher making that kind of money. I really don't. I mean, $39 million a year he's making, and he got an 8-year deal?
Yeah.
8-year deal? I don't see a pitcher getting that.
It was 8 or 10?
It was 8. It was 8. It wasn't 10.
I believe it was 8.
It was 8 years. And do you see pitchers now? Because now you're looking at the relief pitcher and these openers, and some of these teams are saying that in order to win a World Series, you need a significant, strong bullpen. And your team, the Brewers, have one of the best bullpens in baseball. Now, do you see the game transitioning to the bullpen style of game where you'd rather pay the relief pitcher, or do you see the starting pitcher getting more and more money as we move forward?
I think that the relief guys end up getting paid more. However, if the game keeps expanding and people keep getting paid more and more, then, like I said, I think that's why the relief pitchers would end up getting paid more. However, I don't see it. When you pay top dollar like that for a starter, I don't think you're just going to run him out there for 4 or 5 innings just be considered an opener. Garrett Cole got paid because Garrett Cole goes out there and he strikes out 10-plus dudes every time he touches the mound. You got to think that's an incredible feat to do. And the guy had over 300 strikeouts last year, and I mean, that's just it's hard to fathom that happened.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Not only did he do it, but Justin Verlander on the same team also did it.
I know. It's not fair.
That's over 600 strikeouts by 2 guys on your team.
Last question for me. Your favorite game that you played in, maybe individually, maybe a great stat line or a milestone, and then the craziest game you ever played in at any level.
Can you repeat that first part of that question?
Your favorite game, whether it was a milestone for you, maybe you threw a no-hitter and maybe something like that. Your favorite game you played in and the craziest game you ever played.
Does it have to be professional?
No,
baseball?
any level.
One time in high school I came out my senior year 2-0 with 2 no-hitters, and I punched out 17 guys in the first game and then 17 guys in the second game.
Oh my God!
So that was a pretty cool experience because that was the first time that it was done at my school to go back-to-back no hitters. and I ended up walking one guy in both of them. Otherwise, I would have had a perfect game. But that's happened to me several times throughout my career, is to where I'll go out and I'll punch out a lot of guys and give up one walk and end up blowing the no-hitter. But and it also happened again to me in Double-A in the championship series. The first game, I went 7 innings. I walked 2 and I punched out like 7, but didn't give up a hit until the 7th inning.
Well,
that game. And then the craziest game I've ever been a part of was probably, I would say, Ole Miss in college. The very first inning I came out, I gave up 2 runs in the first. I punched out one guy in that inning and gave up two or 3 hits. Gave up 2 runs, and then I ended up retiring 19 straight batters with 14 of them being strikeouts.
Well, I'll tell you this, Braden. I was a pretty good hitter when I played high school baseball. I don't know if I'll be able to catch your fastball or your curveball anymore. I mean, I always hit for contact. I always hit in 1 or 2 hole. That's what I used to do, and I was a pretty good outfielder, but my game was hockey. But before we let you go, I have one question. You mentioned the Astros, and you mentioned Justin Verlander, and you mentioned Garrett Cole. And you heard the stories coming out, and I know a lot of people are taking shots at the Yankees because there were stories coming out that the Yankees were doing and the Red Sox were doing. But I'm not talking about the Yankees or Red Sox. They didn't win a World Series. Well, the Red Sox did. The Yankees didn't. What are your thoughts to the cheating scandal of the Astros? Do you believe they should keep their trophy, or do you think Rob Manfred should have laid the hammer down a little bit harder on the Astros organization?
I'm kind of indifferent on the matter, because you got to think people have been trying to steal signs since baseball started. You know, if you see a runner at second base and he sees the catcher's sign, he'll throw down like a hand or something for whatever pitch he thinks it is. Or you see a third base coach or a first base coach signaling to the third base coach what pitch is coming. You know, the Astros just did it because they have the technology to do it. We talked about technology in an electronic strike zone. You know, the Astros just took it to another level. I think a lot of people are mad just because they didn't figure it out first.
How about banging garbage cans?
However, do I think that there's a fine line between right and wrong, and should they have done that? Definitely not. I don't think that they should have. However, they got away with it, and, you know, people are mad because it happened and they won, and then it came back later on. So, I mean, if you don't catch them in the act, then you can't really lay down the hammer now. It's the past.
Well, you guys heard it here on the Worldwide Sports Radio, Down to the Wire. Braden Webb does not think that Rob Manfred should have laid the hammer down on it. Hey, listen, I am back and forth with this. I'm a Yankee fan. Like I said, I think they screwed the Yankees out of a possible World Series championship.
A lot of people out of a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. So
you just can't, like I said, it's in the past, and like they ended up winning, and then they did it again in the World Series and against the Nats, and the Nats ended up beating them. So
I was so happy.
Me too.
I was so happy. Well, Braden, before we let you go, I do want to hear a little bit. Give me a line. Give me a rap line. Give me a little freestyle. Come on.
I don't have anything off the top of my head.
Nothing?
I don't have a beat. I don't have anything. I'm not in the studio right now. I do have songs on SoundCloud.
Oh, my God.
That I recorded from when I was going through my troubles of, you know, not being able to play, going through Tommy John rehab, and then I wrote and recorded my own walkout song for when I was at the University of South Carolina.
Interesting.
If we get you on again, we'll have to play one of your songs.
No, what I'm going to do is when we do get you on, and I do want to get you back on because first of all, you're really down to earth. You gave us some good insight, and plus, you're like us. You're just one of the guys, and that's what I love when we interview. I'm sorry.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how my dad raised me to be. You know, you can't let the game be bigger than what it is, and you can't act better than everyone else. And I feel like that's why God put me where I am with the Brewers today. Like I told you, the big leaguers interact and help out the minor leaguers, and that's why I feel like I'm blessed to be in this position right now.
Well, tell your father I want to interview him. How's that sound?
Oh, he would love it.
I would love to get your father on. The next time we get you on.
He has no filter though. So
Oh, love it. Love it.
The Yankees and the Dodgers, he will rip into it.
Oh, well, guess what? Me and your father have something in common because I don't have a filter either. So there you go. So me and him would have a back-and-forth banter when it comes to the Dodgers and the Yankees. And believe it or not, even though I'm 38 years old and I'm a lot younger than your father, I have some good insight of the Dodgers and Yankees times where they played against each other. So I definitely have some good insight for your father. And I would love to get your father on with you at another time. I think you're great. I think, to me, the insight of some of these young players in the rebirth of what baseball needs to be and what it should be, you young kids, you young guys are going to really drive what baseball. And I believe 10 years from now, if Rob Manfred doesn't screw it up, baseball will take over as America's pastime sport and the #1 sport here in America. Because I've said this over and over again. This whole thing right now, this 60-game thing, definitely affects where baseball is going with the new CBA. But I think in 10 years from now, I think we'll have baseball on top again. I think baseball is there here in America, especially here in New York. It's still one of the driving sports here in New York. So, Braden, thank you for joining us, man. How could the fans find you on social media?
Just at @BWebb_30 on everything. My Twitter, Instagram, and my video game stream.
Oh, video game stream now. Oh, my God.
Him and Corey Knievel.
Yes, sir. I'm shredding COD. Actually, I was on Call of Duty with one of my friends that was in the Brewers organization. He was my catcher throughout my first 3 years of my career. He actually got released, sadly, because of this pandemic, and it definitely broke my heart a little bit, and I felt for him.
Well, maybe you should make a rap song about him.
Oh, for sure, definitely. give me in New York, get me in the studio, and I will rap for you.
Any day you come into New York, we'll get you on a live radio, and we would love for you to rap. We would love for it. So when you get called up against the Mets, and that's going to happen, I believe it, and I'm going to root you on, my friend, because I'm a Yankee fan, even though I don't hate the Mets. But when you strike out all the Mets, 1, 2, 3, and you pitch a no-hitter, we're going to get you in here. Even if you don't pitch a no-hitter, I don't care what you pitch. You're going to come in here, and you're going to rap for us.
I promise I will. I'll have you at the game, too.
I'll be there, man. I will be there. I'll wear your jersey. I'll wear your hat. I'll dance around in the audience, and then I'll be doing all the interviews on the field. So there you go.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, Braden. Thank you for joining us, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Braden Webb, ladies and gentlemen. And if you don't know who he is, he's the Brewers pitching prospect. Great insight of what baseball is, what baseball should be, and really where he sees himself in his career. And he gave us some laughs moving forward, too.
Definitely gave us some laughs. Maybe we need us to sing and then him to rap at the same time.
That would be good, too. Anyways,
interesting.
When we come back, we have a lot to talk about in sports, especially with the NFL, here on Down to the Wire.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Do current market conditions have you nervous? Our experienced team of financial professionals at Heritage Harbor Financial Associates understands that no two investors are alike. We all have different goals, needs, and appetites for risk. That's why the one-size-fits-all approach does not work, especially when planning for retirement. At Heritage Harbor Financial Associates, we analyze your unique investment style so that you can work toward your individual retirement goals on your terms. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates can help you take steps to reach your retirement goals by providing a wide array of financial products to fit your needs, even for the risk adverse. Give us a call at 631-331-6599 to learn more or to set up an appointment with one of our financial professionals. You can also find us on the web at hhfa.org or on Facebook at facebook.com/hhfa.org. Our number again is 631-331-6599. That's 631-331-6599. Investments in stock, bonds, and mutual funds and variable annuities are not FDIC insured and are subject to fluctuation in value and market market risk, including loss of principal. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates offers securities through AXA Advisors LLC, New York, New York. Member FINRA, SIPC, annuity and insurance products offered through AXA Network LLC.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. As a volunteer, you deliver a hot, nutritious meal and a friendly hello to someone just like your mother, grandfather, or next-door neighbor. These seniors are inspiring people with incredible stories to share, and they love to see you. The smiles you get back are priceless. Delivering with Meals on Wheels is easy, and you don't have to drive like me for it to be quick. You can volunteer your lunch break once a week or just once a month. With 1 in 6 seniors facing hunger and many more living in isolation, your lunch break can make a real difference. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Okay, Simon, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. And what do people normally wear?
Clothes.
Exactly. So now Mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Clothes keep us warm, they look good, and if we go out without them, the neighbors will talk. So it's important to know how to get dressed. Here's how it's done. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole, or you have to start all over. If you're wearing a tie, it goes over, round, through, and pull tight. Tuck your shirt into your pants and zip up your fly. Socks going first, then shoes right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops. The rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears.
I love bunnies.
Good to know. Now remember, spots don't go with stripes, socks don't go with sandals, and if you've tucked in your shirt, wear a belt. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit 2min2x.org. That's 2min2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
So you see, son, good manners are very, very important. Someday, many years from now, when you're a grown-up, you'll be a man. And when you are, you should be a gentleman. Do you want me to go through it one more time?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If a door's shut, then knock first. Don't burp, don't swear, don't speak with your mouth full, don't reach across people's plates, keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
And don't interrupt. While we're at it, don't stare, don't use foul language, don't call people names, but do remember people's names. Always share your toys, play nice, and cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give up your seat to anyone who has trouble standing. Bottom line, treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit 2min2x.org. That's 2min2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
Hey, there he is. How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand or what?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
Are you okay?
I'm having a stroke.
Your face looks weird, too.
I'm having a stroke.
Are you having a seizure or something?
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear.
I'm having a stroke.
You just need to know the sudden signs. Look for FAST, F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. Or S, speech difficulty. Then T, time. Time to call 911 immediately, because the sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. Know the sudden signs. Face, arm, speech, time. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk is 7 seconds, and most of them are tossed aside. Now imagine if one of those resumes belonged to Yasmin, who was
living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
Or if that resume was from someone who
worked 12-hour shifts at the recycling company with my dad, who's 72. That taught me a work ethic that I carry with me every day.
We rely so much on a resume, yet it could never tell the full story of someone.
Growing up where I did, a lot of things could have gotten in the way of my goals. But I learned to push through, and that's what I bring to work every day.
So maybe it's time we look beyond the resume and look to grads of life. Discover new ways to develop great talent that are so much more than what's on paper at gradsoflife.org. This announcement brought to you by Grads of Life and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. You're listening to Down to the Wire on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Six 631-965-4990 is the number. As you know, this is Down to the Wire. We are live every single Monday and Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. New York Eastern Time. Remember, you can call us at all times, 631-965-4990. And remember, go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. I'd like to give a shout-out to Braden Webb for joining us. Gave us some good insight of his career and where he sees himself moving forward, his insight of Tommy John surgery, his rapping career on and off the field. So kid is up and coming, and I'm looking forward. He's in AAA right now with the Brewers organization, so he's one step away from being in the major leagues. And he already told me if he gets called up and he's playing against the Mets, he's going to invite me over there. So I'll be working on the field, my friend, working on the field.
Knowing the Mets, they will get no hit by him.
Well, I read a little bit about him. The guy's got some heat. Throws about 94 miles per hour. I mean, he throws a great curveball. He throws a changeup, and I think he's got two-seam and a four-seam.
That's
fastball.
good, yeah.
So,
especially if it's a hard two-seam, that's really good. And if you're right, if he mentioned it earlier, if hitters get to adapt to a regular four-seam fastball, the hard two-seam could be another new wave of the league too.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, these young kids that we're interviewing are the next big players in the major leagues in the next 5 to 6 years. Braden might be in the major leagues probably in a year. You know what I mean? That's AAA. If you're in AAA, you're one step into the major leagues.
Especially if he's a starter, because the Brewers don't have a lot of starting depth. So it's
I know. That's
possible.
why I'm looking forward to seeing this kid develop, and we became good friends. So I'm going to be following him. Braden, I'm your biggest fan, buddy. So
at this rate, we'll see.
I'm buying your jersey.
At this rate, if he ever comes back here, we'll see you and him in a music video.
Oh, that would be funny. That would be funny. Could you imagine me and him in a music video? Me being the idiot that I am, and him just being Braden. I mean, him rapping and me doing the background shimmy bobby or whatever the heck you want to call it, bobblehead or whatever the heck you want to call me. But anyways, we wanted to get into this particular subject before we get Mark on the show. Speedy.
We got, what are the most unbreakable records in sports, whether it's a team or individual?
You know, that's a good question, and we can argue these points forever. But the record that I see never to be broken is Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak. I don't think we'll ever see a player ever do that, especially the way the game is and power pitching that we see and really the transition. Not a lot of players play 56 straight games.
Right.
So, I mean, when you look at Joe DiMaggio and what he did and how he did it, I don't think you'll ever see something like that. And Joe DiMaggio is one of the greatest underrated, and I'm going to say he's underrated even though he's one of the greatest baseball players of all time.
Right.
Because when you talk about the greatest baseball players of all time, top 5, you wouldn't even put Joe DiMaggio. A lot of people don't even, they put Ted Williams over Joe DiMaggio.
Right, even with the Yankees, it's Mickey Mantle, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, guys that I thought of first before DiMaggio. And DiMaggio's really only mentioned with the hit streak.
It's incredible. And Joe DiMaggio barely ever struck out. This guy never struck out. I think the most he's ever struck out in a season was 97 times.
Wow.
So this guy doesn't strike. He never struck out a lot. And you look at guys like Mike Trout, who Joe DiMaggio wasn't a power hitter, but the way he hits the ball and he puts the ball in all different positions on the field, that's Joe DiMaggio like. Wow. I mean, when people try to compare his game to Mickey Mantle was a power hitter. You know what I mean? Joe DiMaggio hit for contact. That's what he did, and he was a power hitter. So I think there's more comparison to than Mickey Mantle than there are. There's more comparison to Joe DiMaggio than it is Mickey Mantle, just because of the style of game and the way they swing.
I looked it up. It's actually even more insane than that. The highest amount of strikeouts he ever had in a season was 39.
It's incredible.
That is insane. Even for that era, which you're right, they didn't really hit as much for power then.
I didn't even know that.
So
there you go.
That 39
I thought it was
in a
90
year,
something.
39 in a year is insane, and that's your highest year. I mean, that's probably a lot of people never achieve that kind of thing. And I agree with you. The other thing that I think you have to factor into with this not coming about again is the media. I think the media, if anyone gets to 40, if anyone gets to 41, it's just going to add, they're going to hype it up and add extra pressure on the player too, which I think will make it harder for anyone that gets close. And that's why nowadays you really only see, I think, hitting streaks that are in the 20s really beyond that.
Speedy, what about you?
I'm going to go with Wilt Chamberlain's 100 points. I think Wilt Chamberlain's 100 points is something I don't think you'll ever see again for the sole purpose of players love to load manage now. That's what they do. If a team is dominating in a game, and even if the guy has 60-something points, I mean, they're going to pull him if they're up by a lot. I mean, you really need the perfect circumstances nowadays. Maybe if it's an overtime game, maybe if it's a triple overtime game or something like that. I think is the only way you could ever see that kind of thing happen because of low management. Coaches are trying to do that now, and even players. They sit out games. They have minutes limits in games now, where I don't think you'll ever see that happening, even though it is an offensive league and a three-point shooting league.
Russell Westbrook, his triple-double. And Russell Westbrook did it in how many games? I think he did it a triple-double in, I think, 39 or 41 of the games, triple-doubles. Mm-hmm. I don't think you'll ever see a player do it as much as Russell Westbrook did in one season. It's incredible what Russell... People don't realize how hard it is to get a triple-double in the NBA, how athletic the sport is, how it's transitioned, how the game is transitioned. Yes, it's transitioned into an offensive game, but... Does anybody realize how hard it is to get a triple double? You're averaging 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and over 10 to 20 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
A game.
And you're dealing with a point guard here. It's not like you're dealing with a big man who could get rebounds all the time.
I don't understand how everybody thinks Steph Curry is the greatest point guard in our era when Russell Westbrook has been, all in all, better than Steph Curry. Now, Steph Curry won more championships. He won two MVPs to Russell Westbrook's one. But all in all, I don't believe Steph Curry won the second. He shouldn't have won the second MVP. That was LeBron James's. Mm-hmm. But they gave it to Steph because Steph is a popular player. But Russell Westbrook has been a better player. He's been a better point guard in this league. And he's actually, I think he's a little bit younger than Steph Curry too. So Russell Westbrook, the triple-double in his first, not his second year, his first year doing that, the triple-double. Right. So it's an incredible feat for Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, and I think the other, for a point guard to do it especially, is really insane. Yeah, it's Steph Curry may be the most accomplished point guard, but Russell Westbrook.
Why? Because he won championships.
Yeah, that's what people. He
also played with Kevin Durant. He also played, and you're going to say Russell Westbrook played with Kevin Durant too. But here's the thing: Russell Westbrook played with Kevin Durant, with just Kevin Durant, and he did well. A couple of years he played with Harden.
Right.
But that was when Harden was a rookie. Right. He was in the beginning of his career.
Even that team that made it to the finals, it was Russell Westbrook was not the dominant player he was now. Kevin Durant, it was his team, and he was kind of the second guy. And for some games, he was the third guy. Because let's not forget about Serge Ibaka too, and he was one of the better power forwards in the league.
Yep. And they should have moved on from him and kept Harden. Mm-hmm. That was their big mistake.
Yes.
And I'm sure, years and years go by with all the players. Those players, none of them are on the team anymore. You talk about Russell Westbrook, he's with the Rockets. Harden is with the Rockets. Kevin Durant is now with the Nets and won a couple of championships with the Golden State Warriors. And Ibaka went to Toronto and actually went. Who did he go
to? Orlando first.
Orlando
and
first.
Then Toronto.
And Toronto, and won a championship with Toronto. So figure that one out. Every single one of those players except Harden and Westbrook have won championships.
Well, they're going to have to prove themselves together now.
It's crazy. Look at it. Who's your other one?
All right, so I'm going to go to hockey now. I think it's pretty much every single season goal record. I'm not even talking about number one. Wayne Gretzky has the most with 92 goals of the season, but even looking at maybe the top 15 or so, how often are you going to see a guy get to 70 goals now in today's NHL? You don't see it very often with, again, the depth of the players now. A lot of coaches.
It was easier than that time to score goals.
But even, again, in a more offensive league, it's still harder just because of the way that their minutes are spread out. A lot of coaches try to balance their lines now, and you're not going to get as many touches as you do now. And a lot of even the top players in the league now are, not that these guys weren't playmakers back then, too, because a lot of them were, too. Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, Brett Hull on this list that are on the top goal totals. They were playmakers too, but a lot of them maybe are playmakers first nowadays too, where getting 50 goals now is something that's hard to do just because of that, the way the system is and the way the analytics have changed the game too, and just the coaches, I think.
Lamar Jackson, what he did his second year winning the MVP and the way he did it as a running quarterback. Now, positive when you look at his throwing percentage and what he has done, his quarterback rating is remarkable going into his second year where everybody said he couldn't throw the ball. But the way he ran the ball, I think he ran for 1,300 yards his first season. I mean, his second season as an NFL player and MVP, I don't think you'll ever see a quarterback run the ball as much as Lamar Jackson did his second year to win an MVP. So
right, and again, rushing yards, 1,000 yards is the pinnacle for running backs, and a quarterback in Lamar Jackson did it 1,206 yards and 7 touchdowns. Most running backs don't even get to that in a season, and he did it on 176 attempts, so he didn't even have 200 attempts, 7 yards a carry. And again, how often do quarterbacks run that often either, where you're going to get that kind of feet per average? So I agree with you on that one. I think you're going to definitely see that be unbroken for a very long time, and he may even break it himself. Maybe he is the best chance of breaking it, if anything. So I'll do one more because we got to go to break soon for Mark. I'll do the rushing record, the NFL rushing record. Eric Dickerson, 2,197 yards.
That will be broken.
You think it will?
Absolutely.
See, I can't see it. Adrian Peterson was close, and he was 8 yards short in his year. I think that was the best chance. They're just not feature backs anymore. You really think that with the game rotating, where there's a lot of running back platoons, and
I told you it's going to become a running back team. I mean, a running back game again.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a running back game again. I do. I think eventually it will transition back to the running back spot. I just think running backs are underpaid. I think they should be overpaid for the amount of beatings they get at the line of scrimmage.
And like I said, I agree with you in that element. I think what it's going to become more is more of a running game with many different options, though. I don't know about the feature running back being a thing. Again, it might be a one-season phase, but again, you need the perfect scenario to work out, the perfect team to work out at the same time, too. And a lot of the top running backs in the league are on teams that are kind of average, which, again, if you're losing, you're not going to run as much kind of thing. And again, a lot of even those running backs are on teams that are rebuilding. Guys like Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey, both kind of on rebuilding teams now. So again, who's going to be able to do it? You need the right situation. Maybe Derrick Henry, that probably could be the chance if anyone does it.
No.
You don't think so?
Nah. Derrick Henry has a great second half. Every single year, he starts off really bad, and then all of a sudden, after the 6th or 7th game, do not draft him in fantasy. He'll kill you in the first 6 or 7 weeks, and then he'll completely destroy. If you have a bunch of good running backs and you keep Derrick Henry on your bench, then you bring him in, in the 6th or 7th game of the season, then you have something. But Derrick Henry, he does nothing in the first 5 weeks and then completely dominates after that. So,
okay, that's fair. I also think, though, you just need the guy that's going to get the touches in order to do that, because you're talking about 2,000 yards. A lot of the leading rushers now in the last probably 5 years, they're in the 1,600 to 1,700 yard range, and none of them have really come even close to that hot stretch that Eric Dickerson had when he did it in the 80s, and then Adrian Peterson when he did it in 2012, which is just insane off all the injuries he had, just falling 8 yards short, but still really doing that. I don't know if you'll ever see something like that again.
As you guys know, remember you can reach us by going to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. You can call us at 631-965-4990. Up next, Mr. Mark Kelly here on Down to the Wire.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Be fearless at MMA Long Island and Setuha Karate. Located at 28 Colt Court in Ronkonkoma, MMA Long Island is the martial arts school for you if you want to learn combat-proven techniques, build confidence, discipline, and self-esteem while learning real martial arts to fight back against bullies, predators, and peer pressure. MMA Long Island offers group and private lessons for all ages and levels in traditional Goju-Ryu Karate, MMA, and self-defense. MMA Long Island is one of Long Island's most affordable martial arts schools. There are no promotion, belt, or membership fees, and family discounts are available. All classes are taught by 7th degree black belt Sensei John Benedict with over 30 years teaching experience. So whether you want to get in the ring or protect yourself and your family, MMA Long Island can help you reach your goals. Visit MMALongIsland.com. That's MMALongIsland.com or call or text 516-381-9660. That's 516-381-9660.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. You're listening to Down to the Wire on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Six 631-965-4990 is the number. As you guys know, this is Down to the Wire. We are live every single Monday and Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. New York Eastern Time. You can call us at 631-965-4990 and go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Well, we have our second guest. We do this every single Monday. As you guys know, I'm introducing the guy, the myth, the legend, Mr. Mark Kelly. What's going on, Mark? Mark, are you there? Mark, are you there? How are you?
Yeah, hey, how you doing, guys?
I'm sorry, I forgot to unmute you.
Wow, that would be why you didn't hear me.
Well, there you go. And that's why I'm a little out there today. And I want to give a shout out to all the fans that tune into all our shows every single day. We really appreciate you guys giving us the love and the compassion to put the time in to listen to us, you know, maybe 2-3 minutes of your day, but at least you're giving us some time. Mark, so this is, if people don't know, we do this every single Monday. We call this topic Mark It Up. Are you ready, Mark?
Is Mark It Up.
Mark it up, mark it up, mark it up.
Oh, you got it. Mm-hmm. Oh, we got the drop. Go ahead, Mark.
So, I mean, I didn't get the back name, though. Usually you guys give me the good audio with Mark It Up.
He did. He just did it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I did. Oh, okay. I didn't hear it.
He did.
Maybe that's out there. Okay. Well, here's one thing. Mahomes just signed a $450 million extension. Pat Mahomes for the Kansas City Chiefs, making him by far the highest paid football player ever. What do you guys think? Is he worth that? I mean, there was a clear difference between him and some of the other quarterbacks, even with all his, winning a Super Bowl, I think stands out for itself. But just his athleticism, his ability to throw the ball deep, his ability to improvise, whether it's getting away from the rush or throwing with his left hand or, keeping the ball instead of throwing it. I mean, what do you guys think of this? Is Mahomes what we're seeing now? Does everybody kind of have to do what he's going to do in order to get that kind of money now as a quarterback?
I think Patrick Mahomes deserves every dollar he gets. First of all, you don't know how long you have as an NFL player. We've said this. Yeah. This was the beginning topic. We don't know how long he's going to play. To get $140 million guaranteed, even if he gets injured, that's an incredible number. You're talking about getting paid more than Aaron Rodgers got for a 5-year deal worth about $138 million. This guy got $140 million guaranteed, even if he's injured. So he won just as many Super Bowls as Aaron Rodgers in a 3-year span. He won an MVP. He won just as much as Aaron Rodgers has won as an MVP. So this guy is the next upcoming superstar in the NFL. He deserves every penny that he gets. And however long he stays in the NFL, if it's 10 years, he's the highest paid athlete in sports history. Mm-hmm. Not even Mike Trout has made as much money or has got offered him as much money as he, but it's not guaranteed yet. But I do believe they'll renegotiate the deal and he's going to get more money.
Well, Mike Trout's was 12 years too, as well, 457. So Mahomes is much more per year than Trout is.
Yeah. What about Bryce Harper? Remember Bryce Harper's deal? Everybody thought was outrageous, and Harper hasn't won anything yet. I mean, you look at Harper; he leaves the Nationals, where they didn't win a series with him. Goes to the Phillies, and the Nationals win the World Series, and Harper's still looking for his first playoff series win.
Bryce Harper's an idiot.
Yep. And, I just think that Mahomes kind of reinvented the quarterback position. I've never seen a quarterback that can improvise as well as he can, and his athleticism is just freaky. I mean, he was like, to me, to the quarterback position, kind of like what Lawrence Taylor was to the linebacker position. Mm-hmm. He does things that just nobody's seen before. And I think this new wave of quarterbacks that's coming in, you got Jackson on Baltimore, and you have some of these other young quarterbacks, even look at Allen with the Bills, that are just so freakishly athletic and can throw the ball like 100 yards on a run. This is the new wave of the NFL. You saw with the Eagles taking Jalen Hurts as early as they did. Not as comfortable with a guy that's played and gets him to the Super Bowl, but the Eagles have been pretty good the last couple of years. So with Carson Wentz. So I think that everybody now wants a quarterback that can be athletic, that can run out of the pocket, that can improvise on the run, that can read defense. There's nothing that he can't do. And I think that's, you saw only a handful of guys, only 2 other guys in Super Bowl history came from 10 points down on a fourth quarter win. One of them was Tom Brady. So I think that this guy shows why he deserves that type of contract. I agree with you. He deserves every bit of money.
It's going to be an interesting trend, too, to look at with the league as well, because
one of the best rewound. So congratulations to him. Now, one other thing I want to talk to you about is the coronavirus. You just saw one of the soccer teams is going to back out of their Soccer is Back tournament, and you're looking at some of the names now that are coming up, and just in the NL East alone, it's not like Met fans are happy because Freddie Freeman isn't going to play, but you look at the Braves roster, Freeman isn't going to play. Figure, with coronavirus, and he's suffering symptoms. Markakis today announced that he's not playing. Felix Hernandez, who they picked up in the offseason, he's not going to play. So already we have a couple of major players. Freeman was a Met killer. Markakis is a Met killer. And both of those guys are going to miss significant time. So I think that definitely helps the Mets in the National League East. But it also shows how susceptible these teams are to a guy getting sick, and that could really damper who wins now, because people aren't going to look at it as legitimate, because if a guy gets sick that's a major player, like anybody that's one of the top 5, top 10 best players in the game, if they don't play, that's going to really change things. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, Freeman, I think especially, is going to be pretty much irreplaceable on that Braves team. And you're right, Mark. He was a Met killer even before he became a top first baseman. When he was a young player, he was still a Met killer. He was still a Met killer then. So somebody like him is going to be very difficult to replace.
Yeah, but Freeman was a Met killer in the womb. He came out killing the Mets.
Yeah, pretty
guys
much.
Like him and Eddie Perez and Brian Jordan and all those guys here. Andres Galarraga was a Met killer. The whole Braves history. Chipper Jones, of course, is the king of them all as far as Met killers. But Freeman just followed along in that suit. So it's going to be interesting. I think that Acuna, if they played a full season, I think Acuna could have been the first 50-50 guy. He's going to get the at-bats. He's going to get the leadoff hitter. He's going to get about 700 at-bats. He could be the only guy to go 20-20 outside of Mike Trout. So the Braves still got plenty of talent. It's just a matter of can they, they signed, don't forget they signed Marcell Ozuna in the offseason as well. And so they're still powerful offensively. They got Albies, they got Acuna, and they got Ozuna now. They still got Ender in center field. But also losing Markakis and Freeman, two big left-handed bats, is going to play a huge role in the National League East when you already got the Nationals, the Phillies, and the Mets to worry about. What do you guys like in the National League East? Do you think the Mets are the best team offensively? And, where do you see the weaknesses for the Mets taking over the division now?
I think Philadelphia and the Braves are the best teams in that division. Philadelphia added a lot of significant talent in the offseason with Didi Gregorius. You bring in a coach like Joe Girardi, who manages his team very, very well. The bullpen is questionable. That's the problem with the Philadelphia Phillies, but they brought in some pitching, and to me, Philadelphia is the best team in that division. The best team is the Braves. I mean, they have the most young pitching talent in their farm system right now. They have three of the top 25 prospects in baseball. What they have done right now, rebuilding that team, that organization from top to bottom. They have a great lineup. They added Donaldson to this lineup. I think this team is they're stacked offensively, and they're dangerous. Acuna, their second baseman, Albies. I mean, they have so many weapons that they could beat you with. And by the way, they have one of the best catching prospects in baseball. So I just think that when you look at the Braves and the growth of this team is going to be a World Series contender for many, many, many years to come. So I think the Braves are number one, Philadelphia's number two, and then the Mets are number three. What I like about the Mets is they added Betances, who gives them a good arm in the bullpen, but also this lineup is going to be very potent, especially in the middle of the lineup now that Cespedes is coming back. 60 games with Cespedes on his last contract, the last deal of his contract. I expect him to hit some bombs out there. And with the lineup that they have with the Panda, and they got great hitting in the middle of that lineup, a great batting in the lineup. I think they're going to be dangerous, but I don't think, even though it's a short season, I still think I variate to the young pitching that the Braves have. And really what Philadelphia is going to bring with Joe Girardi.
It's also a new manager for the Mets, too. That'll be a challenge.
I can't hear Speedy as much as I can hear you, Errol, so maybe I don't know if his mic is low or whatever.
There you go. Speedy, talk.
Mark, can you hear me better?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, that's better, Speedy, yeah.
All right, I just said also a new manager makes it a challenge for the Mets as well, with Luis Rojas also coming in. Now, he wasn't even the first choice because Beltran was there first.
I know. But don't forget, Errol, that Donaldson left.
Hmm?
He's no longer with the Braves. He went to the Twins.
That's right. He went to the Twins.
But they essentially replaced his offensive production with Ozuna.
Ozuna, that's right. Ozuna, that's who I meant. They added Ozuna, and Ozuna, I think, is a better player. He's a better all-around player than Donaldson. So Donaldson's getting old, So
he was a big part of that lineup last year. He batted fourth, and he drove in a lot of key runs. But Freeman was a huge back for them. If he doesn't come back at some point, that's really going to be hard for them. And their pitching, they have a lot of very good young pitching. They got Freese, they got Soraka, but their bullpen, that's the thing. Bullpens now are so susceptible. The Braves right there were just as bad, maybe not just as bad as the Nationals, but they were bad last year. And so that's their weakness, as well as the Phillies' weakness, as well as the Mets' weakness, as well as the Nationals' weakness. So you're going to have a lot more of that, of a lot of late-inning rallies in that division, and especially now that they're just playing each other in the American League East, and they have a DH now. So that's why I would give, at least offensively, I think, with Cespedes in there, and then you have Conforto, and you have some of the, the shortstop that have really, I've slipped my mind right now.
Dansby Swanson.
Getting better and better with the bat. The Mets have offensively were pretty good. And of course, Alonso hitting 50 homers last year. J.D. Davis was clutch all year. I think they have a lot of weapons that the Braves right now, if they don't have their guys, especially Freeman and Markakis. Markakis was another guy that got a lot of big hits for them last year. So if those guys aren't going to play, that's going to give them a little bit of a more of a challenge. Now, they still have Austin Riley, who came up, had a big year last year, one of the best minor league prospects around. And you're right, they got a lot of good young pitching. slew of guys like that we haven't seen yet that are going to be up this year. When you consider all the prospects now that are going to play a role, and so many teams, you're going to see how deep some of these farm systems are with 50, 60 guys now available. The teams that are really deep, like the Yankees, their farm system, and the Braves, their farm system, these guys are going to be able to replace some of those guys. So we'll see. But Freeman was one of the bigger bats, so that's why I would worry about them. But as far as the Phillies, I love Girardi. I love what they did here. You're right. Didi, to me, was one of the most underrated players on the Yankees. Yeah, absolutely. And last year, when he was hurt for most of the year, he came back. He never really got on track. But Didi, when you look at some of the success the Yankees had in the postseason the last couple of years, Didi had a lot of big hits. All right, and this is a guy that replacing Jeter, there couldn't be more pressure on a guy to replace another guy, and he handled it really well. So I think that's one of the best signings in the offseason. I love Didi. I love what he brings to a team. So I think that's going to help Philly. But I just can't get over Bryce Harper. As long as Bryce Harper's on a team, I would think they're going to lose because he brings like an X factor that just doesn't lead to success.
I beg to differ. I think that when you have a guy, a strong personality like Joe Girardi coming to the team, I think he's going to help Bryce Harper develop as a player. I think Bryce Harper over the last couple of years has had terrible managers manage him. I think you bring in Joe Girardi, he's going to help him. He's going to help him figure out his sweet spot. And remember, Bryce Harper a couple of years ago was an MVP. So this is a guy that is absolutely good enough to be a superstar player, and he is still the face of baseball. Say whatever you want. Bryce Harper is the face of baseball.
I would think that's more Mike Trout.
Mike Trout, nobody even... If you put Bryce Harper, and I've said this over and over again, you bring Bryce Harper to Smith Haven Mall, and you let him walk around Smith Haven Mall just acting like a normal person, and then you bring in Mike Trout, I guarantee you most people will know who Bryce Harper is. Nobody will know who Mike Trout is. Nobody. You wouldn't even know it was Mike Trout.
You think that's because the Mets play the Nationals so that they see him more?
It's not even here. It's nationally.
I just think the personality, who he is. I mean, Mike Trout's a quiet guy. He doesn't say much. He does everything right. Bryce Harper does everything crazy. He's nuts.
And Bryce Harper was hyped up since he was in high school. Yeah. He's been in commercials a lot of the time. Whereas Mike Trout's not really that type. He's in one, I think a protein shake commercial, and that's the only time I've ever seen him.
Yeah, I would say that Harper's more controversial than Trout, but I do think what helps Harper in this market was the Mets play the Nationals consistently. If Trout played on the Red Sox and he was bashing in the Yankees every 18 times a year, more people in New York recognize him than do now.
Good point.
That definitely helps Harper, but you're right. But you know what? I don't know if any of them would be recognized walking through the Smithtown Mall with the way baseball has gone lately. If you put Mahomes in the Smithtown Mall, yeah, definitely you'll get people who see him. But I don't know. Baseball is kind of losing that edge a little bit, even though you can clearly see the player's face. So, I don't know about that. But moving on to basketball and the way that the season is going down in Florida, we have record cases of coronavirus everywhere in the state, yet they seem comfortable enough to move forward with this. I'm really concerned, guys, because the NHL has taken a long time to name the host cities. They're still not really comfortable with the plan they set out and the number of people